Okay, so it's been a couple of weeks since gathering. I've had to work on some other projects that were a bit more time sensitive, a birthday thing. But these are what I've peeled. It is not all of the nettles that I gathered, but this is what I had the capacity for. So this is the green ribbons, and as you can see, they've been sat here drying like more than the overnight, which is needed. So they've actually, weirdly, they've gone sort of a light straw colour, which I wasn't expecting because when I've worked with nettles before they've been green. So I'm going to give them a bit of a rub a la the Sally Pointer low effort method, and then I'm going to see what kind of fibre I've got at that point and what kind of quantity I've got to then work out if I'm going to process it any further with hand carders like I've seen people using and spin it like yarn, or if I'm going to twist it like cordage. I will come back when I have done all of that. So I decided on doing the cordage method, which is the same as the Sally Pointer one or any of the like foraged fibres making cordage, where you have two pieces that you twist and wrap on each other. So you twist in one direction, you wrap the other way. And with my knowledge of like yarn making for making with wool, this is just a hand plying method. And I'm wondering if this will apply to other kind of long fibres like this. Where I've come to the end of it, instead of doing like the there's a way that you can splice in horizontally, where you basically lay the new, when you come to the end of your fibre, you lay the new one across like that, and that's a kind of splicing method. One might be tempted to just like lay it next to it, and I have been doing that a little bit where it's felt like there's quite a lot of, it goes kind of along to something very spindly and like quite hair-like at the end of the fibre. I have been kind of just putting it in and letting it wrap over, so I've got like a long overlap. Otherwise I've sort of just been doing a bit of a hook, so like bending it over, so I've got kind of that much that's then got 3 ply all the way over. And I'm thinking and I'm hoping that like by twisting in that extra little bit backwards, that'll give it a bit of extra strength so that it won't just slip out and come apart. And that's been pretty okay. So I've just been ripping into these quite thin little strips from the pieces. I gave them a little bit of a rub, but not very much, and I don't know how much it actually needs. They seem to be sort of just working quite well. Something else I've noticed is that one of the magics of plying, when you've got your 2 single pieces of like wool, is that when you combine them together, it helps to even out where you've got little bumps and stuff. So that's been the same here. So although, and ignore the bit where I had to knot it because I broke it, but ignoring the odd little schlub and like bumpy bit, I don't know that it's like consistent enough to go through the eye of the needle and sew, but I'm actually surprised by, with very little fibre preparation, I've actually been able to create like a fairly consistent smooth piece because of the plying and the magic of the way that plying works. Yeah, it's all been pretty good. This isn't all of it. I just wanted to do a bit of an update while I was thinking about it. So I've got this much, and then I've got still absolutely loads. I'm not sure if I'm going to do all of it and then start the crochet of the basket, because spending too long being like, oh, I need to finish this stage before I can start the next one, can be like a little bit frustrating for me and stop me. So I may start using the yarn for a little crochet basket before I finish making it. That's what I'm doing on my other like sun hat project, where I'm plaiting the fibres together. Although I may switch to using this because this is much easier than I was expecting it to be. I thought plaiting would be easier because I'm very familiar with plaiting, but actually this was very quick and easy because it works very well with this fibre. As far as for how it feels, it's definitely like rough hemp rope twine sort of feeling. It's not like soft. I wouldn't want to knit this into something and wear it against my skin. However, one of the things that I was thinking, because I've been looking at like flax processing and things as well, I've been watching some of the videos, people doing that. One of the things that you get is like the more you wash the fibre, the more like the softer it gets for like especially for plant-based fibres. So I'm wondering if when I've created this into the item that I'm making, and I am making a little baskety type thing, quite similar to this one. This is just crocheted out of like bits of acrylic yarn. But this is pretty much the construction I'm going to use, either making the circle or the oval like the other one I had, and then I'm going to make some long handles. This one's got handles built in, but just kind of make a flat and then go round and round up and have it as like a berry basket. So some stiffness isn't a problem, and the crochet by itself will create that stiffness. But potentially, in the same way as I'm washing my wool as a yarn as opposed to a fibre, because I just find it so much easier to handle and deal with, it might be that the kind of the breaking off of the harder pieces and the accessing of that softer fibre might be something that I can do after it's either in the yarn form or even in the finished piece that I've created. So I'm thinking that there is also more options available. The process of doing this, much like the process of any creative endeavour I find, makes me always think of like a million more ideas of other things that I'd like to do. You read one book and you end up with like 4 different citations, and you do one creative craft project and you're like, I could do these several other billion things. So yeah, gotta restrain that somewhat. But yeah, I'll see how it is. I think this will be absolutely perfect for a basket, but it might be that I use some of the other bits as just the kind of cordage like this, creating it through standard methods that other people have detailed far better than I have here, and then see if I can process it when it's already like wound up into this to create something that's much softer. Anyway, very exciting. I will come back when I've started my basket, I assume. Okay, so time for the big reveal. Ta-da! So it's a little bit smaller than I intended, but I think it'll still work for gathering a small quantity of berries or other kind of foraged foliage. It is a little crocheted basket. The handles aren't crocheted at all, they are just the twisted cordage. Very visible on this bit. I've created a very inconsistent fibre, and especially towards the end it's all got quite woody, and I don't know how well this will hold up. Particularly this piece where it's very woody, so it wasn't able to get very much twist in it, so that might be something which comes apart, which then needs to be repaired later. But I am hoping to process some more nettles to make some more sort of nettle string, so hopefully be able to do that. It is a bit messy from the top, which is a shame, because underneath some of it's come up really nicely. I've done it in a single crochet. I made a base and then crocheted in back loops only to make the walls, and then just went round and round. You can kind of see some of that ridge there, but because this was so much smaller and I ended up making it a little bit bumpy because I was just eyeballing rather than counting things, I actually ended up with quite a rounded bottom to it. But yeah, it's got some quite nice little stitch definition. It's not the easiest to crochet because I didn't remove too much of the woodiness, and towards the end removed even less, just because I was kind of keen to finish. I feel like it's been going on for a long time. So yeah, it's got a kind of nice sort of flexible thing. I was thinking that I would further process this to try and make it a softer piece, but I think I'm just going to let it live as a bit more of a basket than a bag, as it is now, because I'm worried about washing it too hard and messing it up now that I've made it and put all that kind of effort in. We just picked up a thread off the table. Yes. Now that I've put all that effort into it, I don't want to run the risk of ruining it from there. So yeah, fairly simple little baskety project. Probably will continue to do more, but this is my entry into the 2023 Nettles for Textiles bags or baskets. I have made a bag or basket depending on your personal beliefs of what I have created. I suspect it probably will get softer as well through use, because part of the thing, I think as I mentioned in the initial video before I went foraging, one of the things that I really liked about the previous one that I'd made from plastic bags was that because it has the little holes in the bottom of it, very much like that, you can use it as a colander. So if you have gone and picked berries, you can keep them in the thing that you've picked them in and then just run them under the tap to clean them. And I think that's going to be the same sort of benefit with this, and hopefully running it under the tap and having it continually kind of smushed up and shoved in a bigger bag perhaps, or hung over the side, or scrunched about over my wrist while I'm faffing about with dog stuff. And even manipulating it now, it's lost some of its sort of woodiness. That should still soften it up, so I end up with a much softer piece. So yeah, pretty happy with this. It's the second thing I've made from Nettles. Previously I made a little coaster which I gave my friend, and she's got her makeup brush sort of thing stored on top of that. So yeah, and obviously it smells amazing. It's got a really nice lovely grassy smell. Just thought I'd mention that because it's not obvious to see through a video. So yeah, I've got another project going on with Nettles at the moment. I'm sort of in the process of making a sun hat, but that's going to take forever, so I shan't be documenting that process at all. But yeah, it's been really fun. It's been an enjoyable time. It's been fun playing with the Nettles, and I've got some more fibre that I can process. Bye for now.